Hello.
Welcome everybody, it's Pine&3G and we've got another texture pack to look at with you guys.
So this one is by Tanya012.
And it is called
T-Craft. Realistic.
T-Craft, obviously, from right here. And yeah, let's jump in. We got the start menu. Looks pretty nice. I like this burnt wood paneling here. We should note that on the website it says that it is in progress. So let's keep that into consideration.
And the other thing is that if you don't know how we rate texture packs, there's a short video and it tells you our rubric and how it's all decided.
And there will be a link to that in the description, of course. So here we go.
So, first, identifiability of the blocks. So, are the blocks identifiable? Can you tell what they are?
And for the most part, I would say yes. However, there's a couple of instances where if you were to just give me this, I couldn't tell you that that is a block of diamond.
That's true, but if you look at it, you can kind of see that it's like, alright, like one of those blocks would be in a diamond ring.
Yeah, so definitely not the perfect 5 score, but it's probably going to get around a 4. Because most of the blocks, look, you can pretty much tell what they are, but there's a couple that get a little funny. Like this one over here I noticed. Couldn't tell, but that is a note block.
Alright, so let's look at the theme. Let's save the aesthetics for last.
Okay, so let's look at the theme of these blocks. Kind of how are they working together?
So let's take it back and look at our big wall of the majority of the blocks and see.
So let's see. I mean, they're all, I think what the idea of what it was is kind of like the standard Minecraft theme, except much more detailed, much nicer looking.
Realistic.
Much more realistic.
I mean, like the name suggests, realistic.
Yeah.
So if we look at the wool, I mean, I like it. I think it goes well with the ore. Like, I see, like, I see it all connecting.
I can see most of it connecting. There's a couple of things that I don't quite see. Like the enchanting table here, which is, this is not the default skin, or at least I don't think it is, doesn't quite fit. These kind of don't quite look together. Most of the other ones are very well done. They look pretty solid together. Quartz pillars, and your glowstone, watermelon. So everything, so again, pretty solid.
I think it definitely has a theme.
It definitely has a theme, and it definitely is cohesive, though not perfect. I don't think it gets the full 5. Probably a 4.
I'd agree with that. Alright, next we go on to transferability.
Transferability. And now let's look at my beautiful house. Again, it's not usually the most pretty building. However, it doesn't quite work in this texture pack.
Not exactly. That is just a lot of differences in the shades and the colors, kind of.
Yeah, and it's probably because, again, you're trying to look at the bark of this wood. They're trying to give a lot of detail, but in terms of the whole structure, it just didn't work when it worked when I was first building. It doesn't quite work here.
So I don't think it's quite transferable, but I think if you started in this and you wanted to build something, you could build something really cool, because each of these blocks has so much detail.
I agree. Again, my lampposts kind of work. Let's go look at my little villager. I mean, pretty solid. Besides a couple of the textures missing, it's still, but it kind of looked a little better in the standard texture pack. But definitely, like here, it is working very well. So let's check out some of the other things. My pig, ugly as always. But I mean, it still has that it arguably looks better in this texture pack than the standard. And then this mob spawning thing.
Let's go check out the creatures.
So let's see what we got. We spawn in a skeleton, same creature. You can see we've been here. These are magma slimes. They already look exactly the same. Wait, what is this? Is this a zombie? That is a zombie.
Interesting.
He almost looks like a creeper. Again, it says that the texture pack isn't finished, so this could just be something in progress. But right now, kind of looks like a slime. And by the way, I really liked what they did with the iron bars and turned them into fences. In my opinion, a lot nicer than what they standard look like. So we got magma cubes. Oh, there's a horse that's going to be dying. And Blaze, again, also looks good. If we go over here, again, same thing where I just don't think he's quite finished because he looks kind of derpy. Here you can see what the sword looks like also.
Alright, and I mean here, doesn't look like there's much change at all.
Yeah, no change. And I think the flooring, the flooring doesn't quite flow as well in this, but again, a lot of the blocks you can definitely tell that that's netherrack. So let's go check out a couple different places. One of them I'm curious is the flower first because of how pretty everything is.
I think this one, I think it's gonna look really good here.
Alright, so let's check it out because I would notice that all the flowers were textured, and again, that is fairly pretty.
Alright, let's pause on a flower. Let's look at one of these. Okay, so there we go. Daisy.
Let's see what it is. That is
I thought it was a daisy.
oxeye daisy. Yeah, good job.
Okay.
I don't know my
And
flowers.
we have these pink things that look like roses.
Tulips.
Or tulips, okay. I'm really liking how most of these flowers look. I think they look really well done.
Yeah, I would agree. They are very pretty, very well done. It adds a lot more detail. Like these guys in standard Minecraft are kind of ugly, but right here you see there's a bit more detail put in. So very good.
I think that definitely adds to the general appeal and aesthetics of this texture pack.
Agree. The aesthetics is doing very well. I mean, you can see the block of wood. This is like your standard Minecraft texture, but again, a lot more detail. Looks a lot prettier.
No, I really like those flowers. I think those might be my favorite thing so far in this texture pack.
Alrighty, let's go check out underground. Oh, where is my... Got spun around there. So let's go to abandoned mine shaft. I mean, while you're caving, this wouldn't be bad to go around digging through. Put a zombie or two in here.
It's just a little bland.
Yeah.
It's almost like you just get lost in all of it because there's not much definition between the blocks.
I agree, and I think the cobwebs might need a little bit of work also.
Yeah, they look not quite connected.
But again, let's look over here. Okay, these guys haven't been reskinned. Hi. But again, I still think it's still pretty solid. I mean, probably just as good as standard Minecraft. This stuff, maybe, I'm not sure about the posts, but in general, still pretty good.
Yeah.
So let's check out the Nether. I'm not crazy about the obsidian. I don't think that quite flows with the feel of everything else.
I could agree with that. I mean, I think it's like a hard quest making everything look realistic but still fitting in the Minecraft.
Ooh. I like this. Definitely like this. I think this definitely fits their theme of being realistic. This very dark, reddish, hot color. Not crazy about the quartz though, but this for sure. Maybe a little bit of work here.
Yeah, maybe that's just not finished yet.
Yeah. Soul sand hasn't been done. And again, the Nether fortress looks good. I like it. And I don't think any of the guys are textured. There's a ghast. But again, looks pretty good. I like the way it feels in the Nether. A lot darker than normal and probably more realistic of like this almost lava-y color.
Okay. So, now that we've been to all this, let's kind of comment on the completeness of this.
Yeah, that's a tough one to look at because it's hard to know what they left out, what could be left out on purpose, though I'm not sure if they plan on leaving anything out. And like just
what
things
they haven't done yet.
Exactly. Like I'm certain these redstone lamps are gonna look a lot prettier once they get to them. But once they get to them, again, the rails look very nice.
Let's talk about just like the general aesthetics and the general appeal of this.
And you can see that they filled out every painting except for this one over here, which is, I mean, a good amount of work. Not everybody does that, and that's something I definitely notice and gets points.
And another thing about all these paintings is they're all kind of have to do with animals, so it adds to the cohesiveness, kind of.
Yeah, it definitely adds.
I mean, you have a couple landscapes and whatnot, but
there is a theme. I agree. Okay, so what do you think for completeness? This is a tough one to score. Just because not all the blocks are completed, I can't give it a higher rating score. So maybe around a 2 or a 1, just because of a bunch of missing blocks. I mean, right here I think is a very good example. You can see here's your redstone comparator and repeater. They obviously have done work on the repeater and not the comparator, and you can see where the changes will be. However, it's just not done. You know that they're going to do this.
I mean, yeah, we're doing one that's only 60% complete, so that one's going to be a low score right now.
Yeah, exactly.
The transferability, I mean, I can't say that it's too high because it's just such a difference.
Yeah, right here, what is this? I think it was dark wood, spruce wood actually. It didn't quite flow. What's this, dark wood then? Yeah. So again, I wonder what jungle wood looks like also, so. Yeah, a little bit interesting, and we didn't look at our little contraption here. I mean, it looks just about the same, because most of those blocks haven't been updated yet.
Let's talk about the pros and cons of this.
Pros and cons. Okay. I think you're going to agree with me and when I say that just most of the blocks are really pretty looking. Again, when we were in the Nether, I really liked the way these netherrack looked. I think it was very good. Like the glowstone also, although it's kind of hard to identify at first, it has a good feel to it with the realistic.
I could agree. And I also, those flowers, I really like the flowers. They're really pretty. They look really good in this texture pack.
Definitely hits that realistic theme that they're going for. Maybe not as realistic, and this is just a personal preference. I don't really like how they put the red of like most of the ores kind of in the center. I like it when it's a little bit more evenly dispersed. So when you're looking at the cave, it's not like, okay, block, 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 block.
I could agree with that.
Though that's kind of a personal preference, and that's the artist's choice.
Another thing that I really like about this is I think the theme's really cohesive. Like, I think it definitely has a vision, and it's carried out really well. And I think for all the blocks that have been done so far, I think she's really put a lot of effort into them, most of them at least.
I would agree. It looks very good, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I think we're going to tally the scores up, and we'll be right back and tell you how everything turns out.
Okay, so we are back with our final scores of T-Craft Realistic Texture Pack.
And we went in, we counted all the points, and let's see how it did.
Alright, so for Identifiability, we gave it a 4 out of 5.
A couple blocks that were kind of hard to tell, but for the most part, very good.
Aesthetics was a 5.
Yeah, and I don't say that lightly. I don't know if there was a single block where I just kind of didn't like the way it looked. Almost every single one, whether you looked at the netherrack, you said you liked the flowers. I mean, you can see the furnace and the pictures in the background. It looks really good.
No, there's a lot of detail. I really like the way it looks. I do.
So theme, again, there's a couple blocks that kind of look a little out of place. You can kind of see in the background, you can see the crafting table looks a little odd, but besides the one or two blocks that could be tweaked slightly, again, it has a very good and cohesive theme.
Transferability, we gave it a 3. It didn't transfer so well because it's just a lot of blocks are really different from the normal blocks.
Exactly.
But it's not a bad thing. Like, that's why this one's only weighted at 10% in our rubric. It's our lowest one. But I mean, it does matter if you already have something built and you're transferring to here because it messes with it. Well, if you were to start in here, you really could make some really nice things with the different blocks that she's made.
I agree. And then to finish it out, completeness. I wanted to give it like a 2 or higher. However, there's just too many blocks missing, and I realize it's a work in progress. However, it does get the score of 1. There's too many things just kind of missing in the back. You can see the ender chest isn't done. The trap chests aren't done. There's too many blocks that are missing. I know they're going to get in there and look great, but so for right now, it gets a 1.
But later, once it's finished, then that'll probably go up because
exactly,
it does work really well. So the total weighted score when all these were put into a program was 72.6.
And so that's pretty good. I think that's a little bit above average, and it makes sense. And once we plugged it in just for fun, if completeness were 5, this went to I think a 75%, which does make sense, which is a very good score. Since for a lot of texture packs, transferability, they won't do very high, even if everything else gets perfect scores, or back and forth. Sometimes just blocks aren't very identifiable, but things still look great.
But overall, this world is a really nice looking world. I think it definitely could use some recognition and some more downloads.
So check it out. We'll put a link in the description, and thanks for watching, you guys.
Bye.
Alright, bye-bye.